Good morning, everyone. When incumbents start dropping out and not running for re-election, incumbents are the people who are currently occupying the MP chair, the seats. If they don't want to sit for re-election for whichever party they're in, that's a huge hit to the party. Incumbents have a massive advantage, likely to take the seat unless the leading party has done something wrong. And even then, there's still CPC incumbents and NDP incumbents. Usually those candidates are the public in their riding likes them, right? And there's a reason the public like them. Maybe they've done something really good in the riding or whatever. They're local, not celebrities, but people that have already won once in the riding, if not a couple of times. And there are a couple of MPs who have been there for a long time. Elizabeth May is a good example, right? And there are others. And so when you've got MPs, long-standing or rookie, people who have been there for a while, or people who've just been elected for the first time, not coming back, that's a problem. Here's Sarah Spencer reporting, quote, "More Liberal MPs bailing off a sinking SS Team Trudeau. Well done, Pam Goldsmith." Pam's going to go spend time with her parents. Reporting by the post-millennial. Yeah, she'd rather do that. Right? Right. The Liberals are in trouble. And they're having a hard time filling their slate of election candidates as well. Mr. Bernier and Miss Rempel have gotten into some Twitter discussions of late, and it's led to a conversation about blocking people on Twitter. I'm of the opinion that our elected officials shouldn't be blocking people, but I'll get to that in a minute. Here's Maxime Bernier tweeting, quote, "Finally got blocked by @Michelle Rempel. Poor little entitled princess could not take the heat anymore. Too many people criticizing her hypocritical virtue signaling and her support for far-left authoritarians. Anyone still wondering why I left the CPC?" And so this was in response to Michelle tweeting about a candidate or a nominee for candidate being removed from contention because he was gay, which didn't happen and was proved false. But anyway, she kept the tweet up, and I think the tweet is still up, but I'm blocked by her. So that's interesting. Here's another tweet that says, Rempel calls people on Twitter asshole and jerk. She calls Canadians who want lower immigration far right. She enthusiastically supports far left transgender activist. To all real conservatives, is this the type of strong woman you want representing you in Ottawa? And here's her saying to Alberta View, you degenerate every female in the CAF. Invite yourself, a-hole. I'm sure you'd be in the boat if given a proper invitation, is the response there. And here's another one calling National Newswatch a jerk, you jerk. And National Newswatch is tweeting, "No guarantee of federal decision on Trans Mountain Pipeline before election." So it's interesting. I think I'd rather have our elected officials call each other names than call constituents names. I think that when you're dealing with the constituents, you should probably not call them names on Twitter or otherwise. I'm not sure how I feel about the name calling thing. Regardless of calling her a princess or not, I could take it or leave it. But the point is further than that. The point is I think more poignant than that as well. And it's something that's being discussed across Facebook and Twitter. It's social, all of the new social networks silencing people or shaping what you're putting out there, etc. And here's Max continuing on. On May 10th, he says, quote, "She has no respect for Canadians. She keeps acting like an entitled princess who cannot tolerate the slightest criticism, and her leader seems unable to keep this shameful attitude in check. We are public servants. Canadians have a right to see our public communications." And this is in reply to Michelle Rempel blocked me for liking your tweets about her. I didn't even interact with her. Okay, so and number 2 in this tweet stream is our by-election candidates, being the People's Party by-election candidates, were explicitly told not to block anyone, and I'm giving all the new candidates as well as our official EDAs the same directive. You can use the mask function for trolls and others who harass you, but don't block anyone. Mute function in English, masque in French. So the People's Party position is being fleshed out by these real conversations. And as I said, I could take or leave the name calling, but the fact is true. Public servants using a public service like Twitter to discuss the public discord with constituents, paying taxpayers who pay her salary. She's the shadow minister for immigration after all. That's everybody, not just her constituents. Everybody in Canada is represented by her, not just her constituents. So should we not get to see her interactions on Twitter? If I said something that was terribly offensive to her, I have no problem with her muting me. If I was being offensive, I would like a pathway. I would like to know if I was muted and a pathway to fixing that problem, because I never meant to have Michelle block me. As this Twitter person said, Michelle blocked me for liking your tweets about her. I didn't even interact with her. So she's either her or her team is going through and saying, okay, this person supports Bernier, blocked, right? So is that how we want our social media platforms to go? And yes, Twitter is a private company, but Michelle Rempel is a public servant operating on a public platform, blocking specific private citizens. Is that how we want our conservatives or our liberals or our representatives to behave? That is the heart of it. And as I said, I could take or leave the name calling, but if we have to have name calling, I think I'd rather have the name calling be between elected officials than between elected officials and constituents, right? Calling people names on Twitter, not a great look for elected officials. Period. That goes for everybody, right? Maxime Bernier says on this last tweet about this, quote, U.S. judge ruled last year, politicians cannot block citizens they represent on the public Twitter account. Tory MP at Michelle Rempel has blocked thousands who asked questions or criticized her. Should Canadian law force politicians to be transparent and let everyone see their posts? Retweet, presumably for a bigger sample. 4,500 votes and 76% think that yes, everyone should see, and 24% think no, they should block. And I think they should see. I think everyone should see, and I think that a case could be made for that, and a case could be made to have decorum and not call people names. Michelle, Max. It's weird that I'm the adult in the room, guys. Come on. So, right? That's my feeling on it. Here's Victoria News. I'm going to be doing a local focus one. If you want to follow my local stuff, well, log into Canada Poly and you'll see where that is. And however, I want to point this out. This affects everybody across the country, from British Columbia to Toronto to Halifax to Deer Lake. It affects absolutely everybody. Our real estate prices are being inflated by money laundered money to the tune of billions of dollars. 5% is not a small amount. And if that's year over year, think of the compound on that. It's incredible. Victoria News is reporting. BC estimates $7 billion $7 billion laundered in 2018, $5 billion in real estate. Foreign underground cash may have pushed up the average home price 5% in 2018. Right? Pick your jaw up off the floor. That's real. Our housing crisis in Canada is a real crisis. It affects my constituency locally. It affects people here. People can't find places to rent because there are no places to rent. And if there is a place to rent, the landlord's just up the rent by a couple $100 because he can. Because there's nowhere else to rent. It's incredible. Okay, here's the article. Back to the article. BC money laundering investigators have estimated $5 billion in money laundering in BC in 2018, added to the purchase and resale of luxury cars and other goods, for a total of more than $7 billion in dirty money in a single year. Reports on real estate and financial transactions released Thursday show a similar pattern, with luxury cars bought with cash or untracked foreign transfers and then resold to cover the source of money. Investigators found luxury goods went beyond sports cars and condos to high-end pianos and other items that can be bought and resold. BC's activity was part of a $47 billion in money laundering across Canada. They said it's $7 billion in BC, so do the math, right? According to computer models estimating the activity developed for former RCMP investigator Peter German and former Deputy Finance Minister Maureen Maloney. Maloney's report notes that with the volume of untraced money, Canada and BC in particular are favored locations for criminals to operate in. That increased the rate of drug trafficking and has fueled the opiate overdose crisis, as well as pushing up the price of housing by an estimated 5% in BC. So they're not only selling us the drugs that are pushing the opiate crisis, they are using the drug money to inflate our housing market. This is a huge, huge problem. This is a huge deal. And it's one that is being tackled by the Liberals in a very silly way. They're trying to throw money at it. Oh, you know how we can bring down the price of your home? By buying 10% of it from the government. What? No. Oh, and here's your new roommate. Yes, there's 5 of them. They can all live in one room. I don't care. Bye. It's incredible. No. The way they're solving the problem is to throw money at it and purchase a percentage of your home, 10% of your home, if you purchase with their little program. It seems like a really bad idea, and it seems like it doesn't tackle the actual problem of the money laundering inflating the prices of homes. It's just disappointing. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out the peoplespartyofcanada.ca and have a wonderful Mother's Day.